All right, welcome everybody. Solo cast today, so hook me up with some questions. Got a lot going on. Got a lot to update you on, but I may need some help to keep me on track here, so I don't get too far off the beaten path. But oh yeah, let me got my sound on here. Apparently, let me pause this. Man, this room looks terrible. It is this yellow in person, so sorry about that. It looks like we're doing like a vintage cast. That's what it looks like. So let me go back to my chat here to get this open up. All right, so Wassa Boyzan says, hey guys, I'm from Australia, so I won't be able to join live, but can you please make a video on basic tools to have in a started, like a beginner collection, hand tools. I have zero tools, need some guidance, especially around brands such as Wera and some just for basic needs and DIY automotive stuff. So I just placed the order for, so I got through Style Villa, so I know what I like there. I just placed the order for Knipex, or I'm working on it. They're being really difficult. Like it's so odd. It's like, in what world can you find a influencer, but like an old man influencer that has a pretty decent following, especially significant following in the world of tools and garages and stuff, and then I'm a retailer, like a retail partner that can like buy stuff from them, and that they still can't get out of their own way. So I'm hoping that Knipex will get to the point. So I just placed an order. I think it was like 190 pieces as I went through the whole Knipex catalog. But the plan here is to fill up. So I've got the Russo box and the Lista box, and so I'm tool gridding it out so I can figure out how many individual tool grid pieces we'd need if you're going to buy the master collection, and then from there I'm going to then build some basic kits. I've actually done it for several people. We did it for the giveaway. So remember, garage giveaway is going to be July 15th. So we're only a month away. July 15th to August 31st. We're going to have tons of cool stuff this time on this. So I'm going to try to make this a really significant garage giveaway. So we are going to have like a basic Wera package, basic Koken package, basic, I don't know if we'll get to Knipex, basic Style Villa package. And so we'll have like a basic set of tools, and then from there we'll build out what's a starter set, what's a mid-tier set. We're gonna have custom design for you to be able to make designed sets for you if you wanted to build some version of your own version of a collection, and everything in between. So that's the plan. Improved Garage picked up LE polishers. How's your supply holding up? I think we have like maybe 50 left. So the version 1s, we have maybe 50 or 60 of each left. So if you want one of those, they are live in the store. So get yourself in there and get it ordered. The V2 stuff will probably be the next batch, which is maybe a month and a half away. The V2 has a different, as a detachable power plug and a little different ECU tuning. If you want to try one, I don't know that I would wait. I don't think it's that big of a deal. The difference between V1 and V2 is not significant. So we have, I think, 250 V2s coming, and then we'll have like a large shipment coming after that. So let's see. Ben Fenner said, this goes back to, I made a video on the E92 about, what the heck do you do when you got a car that you don't drive very much? And I tried to couch it as nicely as possible. I didn't understand this. When you have two cars or one car, let's say your wife has a car, you have a car. You're worried more about putting tons and tons of miles on, 15, 20,000 miles per car. Then maybe you're fortunate enough, like I've been, and you get a second car. So now I have two cars and the wife has a car. And then I got to the point where I had 11 cars, where my business has become based on cars, and so how the heck do you manage all that? And I'd gotten too far in, and I'd too far deep, and it was a real problem. And so my question is, I have my E92, I have my GT3, I drive the Evo most of the time. We have the Raptor, the Rivian, the E36. You got all these freaking cars. Maybe having a Mira coming at some point. GT4 RS. What happens when you have 6, 7, 8 cars? I live 2 miles from my house to my office here. So you're not getting the cars up to temp, not putting the miles on it. And then I view my E92 as a collector. Yes, I like driving it. Yes, the simple answer is drive it more, but it's not always that practical. And, it is kind of nice to keep the miles low, and it's, I know everybody says just drive it. And so what Ben was saying is, put an engine block heater. Do those really do that? Would that address some storage? A lot of engine block heaters just to make sure the fluids don't freeze. I don't think it really did any kind of help with maintenance. I mean, oil is not as much of an issue as gas is from a time perspective. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can chime in. I don't see what a block heater would do for us from a maintenance perspective. Harley17 says, hello, gentlemen. Matt, well, just me. I guess I'm gentleman, singular. TV question for the average guy. Sony OLED or LG C3? I mean, for the average guy, I think I'd just do, and even in a lot of cases for any guy, any girl, anybody at any socioeconomic status or point in your life, I would do LG. The Sony's going to be more expensive. The Sony, I believe they're still all LG panels with the exception of the Quantum Dot, which may also be an LG panel. So unless you're going to go Quantum Dot OLED, like the really high-end version, the LG C3, I'd rather have an LG C3 ISF calibrated, spend $300 or $400 having it calibrated, because the Sony's, a couple $1,000 more. I mean, I don't think it's worth it unless you just have an infinite budget and you're looking for the absolute best, because the Sony processing is better. And then if you went to Sony Quantum Dot, the newest version is the best TV I believe ever tested to this point. So yeah, I think LG would be the way to go. Anush says, what's the verdict on Pan and Rad's Amplify recommendation for drying aid? It's not even close. Sorry, but OG drying aid is way better. So sorry to everybody. I actually haven't, let's see, from all of my testing and all the playing with different things, all of the recommendations, which I've gotten, pretty much all of them. CarPro Clarify Phobic. I do have some other stuff to play with. I think that's really the only product out of all of them. So most of them have been like a one use. Nope, not even close. Some of them have been let me use it a few times. And I think that, haven't found anything, earth shattering yet that I need to replace other than that Clarify Phobic. All of the glass coatings are not as good, I think, as Wolf's. So Wolf's is even better now for me because I put the Clarify Phobic to top it every time. So I don't know. Still more work to do, but the jury's still out on some things. But yeah, no, none of the drying aid things that I played with were as good as OG drying aid, which is not really OG drying aid. It's B&B Slipstream, which probably is CS3 or whatever. Adams has a version of it as well. Hey, Matt, can you sign the LE polisher before you ship it? Sure. Just shoot an email to ted@obsessgarage.com if your order hasn't already gone out. If you haven't ordered it yet, make sure you send an email beforehand, and then I'm happy to do that. Hey, Matt, Chris from Ottawa. How's OG Canada coming along? This is surreal, but yesterday I'm on a call with my CPA, CFO, COO, lots of three-letter terms here, my CPA firm in Canada, and now my new tax attorney in Canada who specializes in cross-border taxation and corporate structure. It's freaking wild. So here I am, the trailer park kid, sitting in this meeting with all these advisors. and figuring out the structure of how do we protect liability, how do we protect and make sure that I'm not trying to get over on anything and avoid paying tax, but how do I pay the appropriate amount of tax? There's so much gray area in the sort of international treaty-based tax law, and so the corporate structure is going to be not super complex, but not simple. And then we got on the subject of an irrevocable trust owning the corporation and the pros and cons of that. And so the vendors are lined up. We're going to launch with pressure washing. Then the corporation, so I now know the corporate structure to set up. I've set up an S Corp that then reports, so it's a, what do they call it, a disregarded entity. A disregarded S Corp is the owner of the Unlimited Liability Corp, ULC. The ULC will be set up in the province of Calgary. So the ULC rolls up to the S Corporation rolls up to an LLC that files as an S Corp in the U.S., and then that rolls up to a parent holding company that all of my entities are going to roll up to. It's freaking complicated. So we're setting all that stuff up now. The products and the vendors are on board. Last step, I've done all the calculations of what the raw cost is of shipping. Last step, I've got to set up a call with our partners at ToolGrid to talk numbers. And then the goal, I think we're still on track. We have to build a website. But we're still on track to get to Canada in the mid-fall, October, November timeframe. Super chat from Spencer. Thanks, man. How much does a guy have to spend to have you come outfit my garage? Going to be 70 by 96. I think the going rate's about $300K. Is what I need to make it worthwhile. So yeah, lots of money. So, I don't know if you're balling quite that hard yet. Let's see. Next questions. Back to the top. Perry asks, I'm trying to purchase the Undercarriage Mosmatic sprayer. It says it's out of stock. I just talked to Jamie about it. We just placed a PO. They had like a 300 minimum. And so I said, look, I'm going to be using this thing all the time. I'm driving down the dirt road. I'm thinking about getting an APG Bronco. If you saw that on Instagram, I'm not thinking, I'm doing it. So I'm going to be using this undercarriage thing all the time. So I called Jamie from Osmatic, said, look, I want to order like 50 of these things or 25 of these things, not 300, 250 or 500. That's like $200,000. It'll take us 10 years to sell all those. So we should have them back in stock in about a month or so. So let's see. Hey, Matt, whose Vespa is usually in your driveway? Can we get a video of you riding it? Absolutely not. I refuse to ever ride that stupid thing. Doesn't freaking work. It's Michelle bought it from our friend for like $500 or something like that. And so they thought they were going to putt around the neighborhood. Of course, they used it 3 times. And then, because they haven't used it in so long, now the battery's dead, the gas is bad, thing doesn't freaking run. And so it just sits there. And I've tried to throw it away. I put it out on the curb several times, and then Michelle or Ryan will go grab it. Thing's freaking stupid. Brad Hone asks, how's life and the diet? You're looking very fit. I've been struggling with this a little bit here lately. I'm about 220, give or take, depending on the day. I'd really like to get over the hump. I've been eating too much Carnivore Plus, so doing too much aggressive. I've been doing some aggressive fasting, like 48-hour fast here and there, and then it's just not really sustainable, and so then I'd fall off of it. And I haven't been eating anything poorly, but adding in like grainless cereal, doing things like almonds, too many almonds, too much cheese, that I've been just maintaining, and I'd like to get to that next level. But my fitness is looking good. So I did a test on the cold plunge and not cold plunging for a week and a half. and man, I was like debilitatingly sore. And then this week I went back up to 45 degrees, and I'm back on cold plunging post-workout, and I just feel so much better. I don't feel as sore. I don't feel as beat up. I do think I need to get a new mattress, though. My mattress is like 16 years old, 17 years old, something like that, and it just feels terrible. I'm trying to think. Maybe it's not that old. Maybe this is our second mattress, because I remember I got a Tempur-Pedic and we sent it back. It was terrible. So I have a Beauty Rest Black. Yeah, so this mattress isn't that old. Maybe it's 10 years old. But I just wake up every morning, my freaking back hurts from this super plush mattress. I think I need to change it. And it's not from working out. It's from sleeping wrong. So I got to figure that out. But my fitness level is going up. I actually worked out with Norm today, who's the gym owner, who's super fit, like insanely fit, like different levels above. Like he's in the top 1% of CrossFitters, which is in the top 0.001% of humanity. And so we did a partner workout today, and I was able to hang in there. Now, he did 15 wall balls. I did 10. We'd had to do 150 wall balls, 100 box step overs, 24-inch box with 250-pound dumbbells in your arms. You step on the box and step the other side. So I did equal that. We did 10 each, so 100, and then 150 wall balls again. So I did, I did 120 wall balls. He did 180. I did 50 box step overs. He did 50, and so that was pretty good. I'm doing all right. What percentage window tint is on my E92? This is from Christian. It is 20% XPEL Prime Plus Ultimate, whatever they freaking call it. XR Prime Plus. 20% on the sides and back, and then it's 70% on the windshield. Their ceramic rejection business. Let's see. Mike says, Matt, thanks for being OG and doing all the footwork for us. I picked up the Merca, and you weren't lying. I wouldn't steer you wrong, Mike. That thing is freaking awesome. Yeah, the Merca is great. We have those in stock. I'd love it if you buy them. It's amazing. Let's see. Chris says, actually, Bakamo Tankara says, I'm looking at getting into polishing, so for balance, what do you think is the best part of the LE? So the LE's position of the gear set is in a different spot than any of the other polishers, and that's why it feels so much more balanced and easier to keep the pad flat. The way that he's counterweighted the thing, and the way that they set up the stator, the electrical circuitry, combined with where the gear set is, it just sits flat. It's just so much easier to use and learn. Doesn't stall a whole heck of a lot because it has tons of torque, and that's why. And it's $209. It's pretty wild how good it is. So, you know me. I like fancy and expensive, but it's hard to beat. Let's see. Chris Riley says, what's the problem in your head right now, meaning right this minute, you're dealing with that's bugging you? The biggest problem right this minute is that I have a building that's here. It's in a pretty heavily traveled road, and I have to drive down a frickin' dirt road to get here, and I don't like that. So that's my biggest problem at the moment. But the good news, I'm able to come here whenever I want, leave here whenever I want. And that hasn't always been the case, which I know that sounds ridiculous. But I still can't quite go down the main road to a stoplight, make a left, and go down to that next stoplight. I have to, sneak around it. So that's my biggest problem. So to solve that problem, I'm going to be buying a Bronco with 40-inch wheels and tires and a full long travel suspension from APG Off-Road. So that's what we're going to do. My E36 is officially for sale. I have two people that are thinking about it, but that I call them before I list the darn thing. I'm going to list it for $90,000 and sell it. So I'm going to sell. I also have a Ford Transit van. It's a Transit 200, so it's the 200 series, but it's the mid-height, not the shallow height or the tall version, but it's the mid-height version. Has the 3.5 liter, basically Raptor engine in it. Has, instead of Steelies, it actually has, I think, 16 or 17-inch wheels, 17-inch wheels. It's really nice. So I need to sell that. And then what I'm planning to do is we'll probably sell the Raptor. And then when the Bronco gets here, I probably will sell the Evo, and the Bronco will become my daily car. I'll have the E92 and then my GT3. And then a Mira shouldn't be that far off. Let's see. Addison Jordan says, "Hey Matt, what's some good advice that you would give a 19-year-old to be successful? Also, would you ever do a little thing on the podcast where you rate OG followers' cars?" That would be kind of fun. Although, I don't know. People will probably get too mad at me when I don't like anything. So there was something I was just sharing inside the Hex. I just made a video we were talking about materialism when it comes to the quality of things and how that materialism matters. And then I was talking about this particular topic as well. So let me see here. Where did I have him? The guy's name. Let me look at my followers here, or who I'm following, I should say. It was Professor Galloway, Scott Galloway. So I think it's best if I just play this for you so you can hear it.
Follow your talent.
Start this over.
Don't follow your passion, follow your talent. If someone tells you to follow your passion, it means they're already rich. And by the way, the person telling you to follow your passion made their billions in iron ore smelting. There are exceptions. Jay-Z became a billionaire rapping and selling champagne. Assume you are not Jay-Z. Our advice? Follow your talent. Find out what you're good at and apply the thousands of hours of grit and sacrifice necessary to become great at it. As you get there, the feeling of growth and mastery, along with the economic rewards, recognition, and camaraderie of being great at something, will make you passionate about whatever it is. You know what makes you passionate about something? That's something giving you the ability to take care of your children, to take care of your parents, to do amazing things, to be more attractive to potential mates, to have people laugh at your jokes because they think you're more interesting than you actually are. These are the accoutrements of success and focus in a capitalist society. I'm not here to crush your dreams. If you want to pursue being a chef or an athlete or a model or an actor, fine, but have a sober conversation with yourself. In these industries, there's a 90+% unemployment rate, meaning that you need to be in the top 0.1% to make a really good living. What does that mean? That means if you chose another industry that had a 90+% employment rate, you just need to be in the top half to make a very good.
So does that make sense? I've been always trying to figure this out, and Scott really put it together. Like, it would be great, you want to chase passion. But what if you're passionate about something that isn't marketable? What if you're passionate about something that has no real value? What happens if you're passionate about laying on the couch watching Netflix? Who knows? Maybe you could figure out a way to monetize that. Maybe you could lay on the couch, watch Netflix, video yourself, and then talk about your review of what you're watching. I mean, I could be convinced that you could always figure out a way to take what you're passionate about and make it something interesting, make it something marketable. And you could probably take that passionate thing and, if you have, develop some talent around it, and instead of just, being blessed and born with talent. But I like what Scott says there. He says, look, figure out what you're good at. That's basically what he's saying. And then that can very likely lead toward a nice life. So I struggle with this because I was really good at wealth management. I was good at it. I had some talent there. Some talent at taking these difficult topics. I had some talent in generating decent returns and following a strategy and making people stick to that strategy. It wasn't my passion. It wasn't my direct passion right out of the box, but I did become pretty darn passionate about it. And so I think it makes a lot of sense that you figure out what you're talented at. Maybe it's being a manager, maybe it's being a printing press operator, maybe it's being a sound engineer, and then chances are, hopefully you can develop some passion around it. So my advice would be to figure out what that is. What is your talent? Be open to crossroads, especially when you're young, and be open to trying different things, making some mistakes, taking some risks, and then focusing on being really honest with yourself. If you find yourself complaining and everybody's always out to get you, then probably you're likely the problem. So I'd highly recommend go listen to some of what Scott has to talk about. His name again is Scott Galloway. He's a professor at NYU, but I think he made his money at Goldman Sachs or something like that. So Michael Pham says, is that rendering behind you the new showroom in the Villages? Yes. Actually, there's an Inside the Hex video where I go through the mock of the mock before I presented to them. It went really well. So step 2 is we're going to start looking at locations. I'm actually going to go down tonight and video Michelle's house, which we're closing on, I think, next week. I'm walking through it in a week and a half. We close in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. So I'm going to go do a walkthrough, explain what that house is all about, show you where it's at, and then hopefully walk through Middleton a little bit if I can sneak through into the construction area, and maybe look at some of the potential spots. But then the commercial development team will take me out here soon, I think, assuming the meeting went really well, and so I'm assuming we're going to be good. Steven asks, any updates on the ProSlat install video? Let me check to see if he has any done yet. Let me look at the upcoming content. We have to finish. Yeah, so his draft, the Mike and Mike's ProSlat cabinet install. The draft is being uploaded or finished right now. It's 38 minutes long, but we have the completion of the kitchen, the outdoor kitchen, which will be tonight, and then my guess is Saturday or Sunday will be the initial ProSlat install video. So yeah, it's coming here really shortly. Let's see. Chris took that job at Turtle Wax. yeah. Where is Chris today? I don't know what he's doing. Let's see. Hey Matt, what are the best low dust brake pad options for Porsches with iron discs? That's a good question. I always tend to go OE, but I know the 992 stuff tends to be pretty darn dusty. I don't know. I'd be looking at probably reach out to somebody, call up Heinz, Hinz Motorsport. He knows braking, knows the Porsche brakes really well. Call up, Dundon Motorsports. He can help you. So you'd want to reach out to some, Porsche tuning experts and see if maybe it's Carbotech pads or Paget pads or something like that. Maybe somebody makes a good pad that doesn't dust a whole lot, that maybe doesn't squeak a lot, that still stops really well. So I think I would do that if I were you. Could just find something, because I'm always doing carbon ceramics with OE pads, so I haven't spent a lot of time on that one. But if you find out, let me know, because I would like to do those pads on the Cayman GTS. I'm still waiting on Heinz Motorsport to develop me a carbon ceramic for that car. Explain the Knipex deal already. They're just, I don't know, taking forever. Hey, Matt, I used the metal polishing soap, P21S polishing soap. It worked really well. Great product. Yep, it's been around a long time. It works really well. Let's see. Please tell me what products can I use to decontaminate my car that has a ceramic coating on it? Well, if you're going to decontaminate it, then you probably want to strip the coating off, with the polish, the compound. And so first thing I would try is using CarPro. What's the new CarPro is using? What is that soap? Yeah, D-Scale. So hit it with some D-Scale or hit it with OG, Decon soap. D-Scale seems to be quite a bit more aggressive. When the Bilt-Hamber stuff shows up, you could probably just use Bilt-Hamber at a pretty hefty, solid 2%. Let it sit a little longer. Follow with CarPro descale, and then that's all you really need to do. Iron remover's not going to do much. You can do a quick little like auto scrub to it, but your chances are you're going to mar the coating and end up with a not as shiny of a surface. But normally, if I'm going to decon, I'm going to decon soap wash it. I'm going to iron remove it. So I'm going to spray on some iron remover, like Brake Buster. I would then follow with McKee's N914 diluted 128:1 as a clay lube, using a Rag Company clay sponge. Then I would compound and polish the car and reapply the coating. So I want to try to avoid the actual physical abrasion on the surface with the clay pad if I can help it, as long as I can. But if you're okay with marring the surface a little bit, you're fine. All right, J Form says, filling a couple of chips on the front of my 911. After filling, wet sand with 1500, 2000, 3000, what do I use? Compounds, pads to polish it out. If you do that 15 to 2 to 3, now be careful, because if you're beating up the surface, you're going to remove quite a bit of paint if you're going to do, wet sanding down to 1500. I suspect you probably won't need to sand it that aggressively. In order to really take a rock chip and then, and fill it in, and then, you're going to sand it down like that, you're going to be removing a whole lot of clear. So you might be compromising your, the future of that whole section rather than just the little chip. So you just keep that in mind. Follow. There's a bunch of videos online that show you, how to do that and do it, relatively safely. And then by then you won't need to compound too heavily. So I would just use probably Jescar correction compound on a microfiber or wool, cutting pad. Maybe make 2-3 passes, and then just finish it out with perfect finish and a yellow pad. That's what I would do. Yellow Rupes pad. Philippe says, hey Matt, what do you recommend for black plastic trim cleaner for exterior black trim? I mean, we used to use Meguiar's M39. I mean, I still have a bunch of it, so that's what I would use. But I'd probably just use an all-purpose cleaner. Use Green Star, probably diluted, something like 10-1. And I would actually probably use the Color Lock brush. So I would use the Color Lock leather brush with say 10-1 or maybe 8-1 all-purpose cleaner, Green Star, and that should clean it up pretty nicely. And then if it's looking chalky and not so great, you could use Solution Finish to restore it. If you feel like you didn't need that, then you would you could just go right to coating it with XO or CSL or something like that. Let's see. Jeff Lung says, hey Matt, recommendation on glass cleaner, traceless, CarPro Clarify, or Coach Chemi. Thanks. I haven't used the traceless yet, but everybody tells me it's amazing. It's coming in. I'm banking on it because I've never done this before, but I'm banking on carrying it in the OG store. Invisible glass is kind of hard to beat. It's amazing, works well. Griot's glass cleaner's good as well. I think that Griot's, and I think Invisible Glass is better than CarPro or Coach Chemi. Let's see. Ben Fender says, which of Fred's cars would you have in your garage if you could or had to? Let's see. Fred had the Taycan, which I don't think I would get. I would buy it if it was like $50,000, but not $250,000. It's a cool car. I just don't think I wouldn't buy one. But if I was, if I was in the market for an electric vehicle, it's kind of hard to beat. He has the same car I have, so I would choose the Cayman. I think his was a Boxster. But the GTS, was his a Boxster or a Cayman? I think it was a Boxster. Didn't it have a... Maybe his was a Cayman. Anyway, that's the car I would pick. I like that thing a lot. The GTS is awesome. Let's see. Cat Will says, what do you think of these 3, 5, 8 year ceramic coatings? I mean, the year spec is nonsense. It's freaking stupid. Where they come up with that is in the advanced weather testing that they do in the lab. And so you have a hardness scale that they can utilize, the 9H up to 9H hardness scale. And then you have these, where you can basically drop a bead of water on it, I think, at some accelerated rate, and then they can extrapolate that data on how many years would it last. The problem is that you have contamination. We just talked about that earlier when I was answering the question about decontamination. And so when you're decontaminating, you're gonna, in most cases, want to remove the coating. You don't have to remove the coating because you could just clay or just clean up you just clean up the whole thing. Clean up the surface level of the coating, get it unclogged. But your chances are you're going to mar it. It's just not going to look as shiny and pretty and deep and wet as it did before. So there's no way in the world you're getting 8 years out of a coating unless you're putting 100 miles a year on the car and it never gets dirty. So I think that you look for a coating that has the properties that you're looking for. To me, CSL XO is like a 1 year, maybe 2 year combo for me at most. I think it's probably rated at 5 years or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, don't buy any of that nonsense. It's junk. Hey Matt, thoughts on the new G87 M2? Do you think it looks better than the G80? Yeah, it looks way better than the G80. And then like IND and PSI and all these companies that are modifying them, I think it can make it look kind of cool. It's just a little too big and bulky for me. I don't have a desire for one. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool car. If I was in a different position in life, I wasn't buying 911s, I'd probably be all about that. It would be the car I would buy. Let's see. Have you experimented with Bilt-Hamber touchless before washing the wheels? I have, just like if I'm doing a quick wash. It does clean up the wheels pretty nicely. So, yeah, I mean, you could just use touchless on the wheels and don't, just spray it on, spray it off. I wouldn't do touchless if you're agitating, though. It's just not slick enough. Brad Hone says, I have 9 cars. The struggle is real. Tires, that get replaced based on age, not miles. Batteries are also a problem. I mean, we all have to deal with it. If you are fortunate enough in life to end up with a bunch of cars, hopefully there are a bunch of really nice cars. But when you end up with a bunch of cars, it's a different perspective. And I know it's hard to understand that perspective unless you have considered it. Let's see. Hey, Matt, love listening to the podcast. 12 hours. I drive a loader for 12 hours at work and listen to podcasts. Yeah, I think once I build the studio here, we're going to commit to doing it even more. Let's see. Chris Riley said a block heater will allow your engine to warm up quicker. Okay, that was the reasoning. That makes sense. Hey, Matt, do you have a time frame for when Bilt-Hamber traceless and touchless will be back in stock? Also, is Atomac necessary for a daily driver, or will it be more of a high-end cars? I think Atomac is more necessary for a daily driver than a higher-end car. And traceless, touchless is on the water. The due date was, what was it, like July 6th or 7th or something like that? Yeah, July 2nd was the due date, so don't count your freaking chickens. So let's say it's July 22nd to be safe. But July 2nd is when it's supposed to hit customs here in the U.S. So hopefully that first batch isn't completely sold out, but it may be by the time it gets here. So if you're thinking about it, I'd place the order. Mopar478 says, Matt, did you ever get with Gary Brecka? I did. I spent a lot of money to have a meeting with him. And actually, Michelle was just on me yesterday. I've kind of given up following up with him. I think he's had so much success that they're like running around like a chicken with its head cut off. They're just running around all over the place. I need to get them to write me the prescription for the, I think he had suggested I do neuromedulla or something, neuromedulla complex, and I think you can't like buy it, and I don't know the recommended dose. So that was 3 months ago. I need to call him up. The block heater, let's see. A block heater is strictly to aid starting oil flow in very cold weather and also provide heat in the cabin quicker. Nothing else. That's what I assumed. Let's see. I just had my 3000 LG OLED TV go out on me. Stay away from LG. Now I don't like that mentality. Like you get something that you just have bad luck and then you just quit. We all know the LG is great. I've had 15 LG OLEDs and not one of them a problem. And chances and the probability of a bad one is low, but it can happen. So, I mean, I understand getting a bad taste in your mouth, but I would run straight to LG because any electronic device is going to have a problem. Let's see, for anti-gravity batteries, do you tend to, choose the highest amp hour rated? Yeah, I always just choose the biggest capacity one. So I always get the 60 if they have a 60 or 80, amp hour rating option. Tech Assistant says LG is the only TV OLED manufacturer, and you can't avoid them. They make they're the manufacturer of the OLED panels because they own the tech. Let's see. Viewers, do not adjust the color temp on your screen. It's really yellow. It is really yellow. Good to see you. Any idea when you'll be near Austin for the garage upgrade? I would guess it'll probably be spring of next year. Let's see. Oh, just jump ahead on me. Spencer's garage is in South Dakota. Let's see. Ethan's laughing at me saying 300,000. Let's see. Coming to the Villages from Southwest Florida to look at a new house week after next for 5 days. Would it be possible to stop by HQ just because I'll be so close? Absolutely, 100%. So, again, who knows if I'll be here or not, but I usually am. So I think that, we're here, say, 8 to 5. Just Chris loves giving people tours. Just email Chris at obsessedgarage.com and he'll set something up for you. But yeah, we just had somebody come stop by today. Come on over, see our yellow wallpapered facility before it turns into something awesome. Let's see. Ryan says, Matt, how are you feeling about C6? Pretty similar to Opticoat. I know Ivan was there for a while, but it's the same paint, prep, polish, coating application using their process or just rebranding. Is that stuff that their DIY details, is that the coating he's talking about? There's like C6 and C8 or something like that. I just don't have any interest. I know all of you guys are out looking for the unicorn. This is one of the biggest problems that I have with pressure washing and detailing, and the reason why I stopped making pressure washer comparison videos, because we don't need any more, right? There's no, other than occasionally maybe something interesting comes out, but there's not like when I was doing it, there was no information. Well, now we have almost all the information, so you guys can just look at a pressure washer and kind of know what it is, with the exception of something new and interesting, like say the Active 2.3 comes out. We need to test that out. We find out it's too loud, the pump head's a little too weak, too small for my liking, and so I'm not really interested in it. Same thing with coatings. Unless somebody's coming out with something really insane, I don't think we're going to be looking at some remarkable change in anything here, other than a company like DIY Detail completing their line, right? So they have a hole in the line. Let's fill the hole so that way we can serve our customer base. But in general, unless somebody creates something new and sophisticated, I find it hard to beat the Car Pros, the Geons, and the G-Technics of the world. They're just so far ahead. Let's see. I wonder what's the point of having an Obsessed Garage Shorts channel when 80 to 90% of all the uploads to the ordinary channel are shorts. Can't stand shorts. The beauty of long form. Well, shorts reach a completely different audience, right? So I don't watch shorts at all. I'm not interested in it, but we're getting, if I look at the content and you have the shorts, now we have the OG short channel, which is the shorter videos that we put up for our products, right? And so I don't want to put that on the main channel because it kills everything. But if you're talking about shorts, which are basically reels, here's one has. So if we look, we have a bunch scheduled here. There's 4,000 views, 3,600 views, 4,400 views, 3,400 views, 3,700 views, 5,000 views, 9,400 views, 8,000 views. So when you're getting people to look at this, we're just building the case to grow the audience, and maybe we might find one of you through a short. And so what we are going to be building is a OG Builds channel, which will be for the local install stuff that we're going to be doing. D. Ryan says, what is the difference between the Liquid Elements T4000 5-inch polisher in the store now versus the one coming in a month or two? Two differences, a detachable power cord and slightly different ECU tuning. Other than that, it's identical. Jeff C. says C6 is quite a bit different than OptiCoat. He uses an adhesion promoter, which OptiCoat never had, which is very different and requires short stroke machine. Yeah, not interested. Ben says, finished getting the vacuum solution from Yarn mounted in my garage this week. It's legit. Thanks. Yeah, and it's Ben bought my Yarn building vacuum system. Sweet. I always worry when I sell something I've been using for a long time and it explodes the moment that somebody buys it from me. Let's see, Matt. The people are still waiting for the wallpaper strip shirt on the website. He's talking about the boats. We already started removing some of the wallpaper in here. Trevor's just kind of chipping away at it a little bit at a time. Hey, Matt, wanted to get my car retinted, but was told removing the old tint may damage the defroster grid. Should I find another tint company or just leave it alone? No, he's right. There is a medium possibility that could damage your defroster grid. You just want to make sure they're not, removing it with a razor blade. They have to remove it with, simple green and steam, and it can become really annoying. And so, but yeah, it can damage it. So you do want to be careful. Let's see. No, not the Ford. Got to keep the van. Yeah, no, the van's got to go. E36 has got to go. I feel done with it. Plans to further test the Grio's metering tips. Not really. I can't figure out the dilution ratio coming out. Purple tip is 2 GPM, no matter if I'm wasting a ton of product. It would be nice to use for GSF. Yeah, I don't know. I just have my process dialed so nicely that I guess I do need to play with it with GSF, but it's not really a benefit with using it with the pre-wash and the Bilt-Hamber. Matt, I just unboxed my AR630 TSS and absolutely blown away. The difference is night and day when compared with my Sunjo pressure washer. Big thanks to the OG crew. Yeah, I mean, you just stepped up in class, right? You came up to a professional grade pressure washer from a simple one. Let's see. Harley 17 says, by the way, your tricep looked awesome in the interior wash. Thanks. I don't do any kind of dedicated tricep bicep stuff. Just doing. Let's see what works triceps a lot. A lot of push-ups. What else do we do a lot of that? Push press. Just general movement. Your triceps are engaged in pull-ups and stuff like that too. Let's see. Where was I? Got me thrown off there. Hey, Matt, thanks for the Nyjah link in one of the latest videos. Stoked to get them on my feet. They're really nice. Nyjah Houston. They're the Nyjah Nike SB. So it's Nike skateboard shoes. I bought like 4 or 5 pairs of them. I really like them. Jeff C., I want to get the OG vac soon and do the hide-a-hose down into the garage for my crawl space. If I send a sketch of the design, would they be able to help me determine if it will fit in the space I have? Yeah, I think the team could figure that out for you. What company do you recommend for bedding? Sheets, comforter, etc. Front Gate. Troy Reed turned me on to that years ago. I have Front Gate sheets, and they're my favorite. I bought like 10 or 12 different companies' pairs of sheets, and they're my favorite. I don't love them, but they're pretty good. Maybe don't be a passionate drug addict. That's good advice. Been following you since the days of the GT350. Curious to know your opinion on how long to keep a vehicle. Do you find it easy getting rid of a vehicle after a short time to get another? Oh yeah. Whenever I'm off, whenever I decide something's dead to me, it's dead to me, and I just move on. I don't have any nostalgia. Sometimes, you see me go back and get cars that maybe I, didn't feel complete with. But yeah, I think you keep it as long as you love it. If you don't love it, then don't beat yourself up over that. Just figure out what your next path is. Assuming you're not putting yourself in financial peril, accept that variety oftentimes is fun and interesting. Like, I'm gonna do an APG Bronco. I had no interest in this 4 days ago, and now I'm 100% in. So I may hate it, but I may not. Why not try it? I've always wanted to do a pre-runner, like a Tacoma pre-runner build, and have it, this crazy long travel suspension, and just drive that around, jump over curbs and stuff. It'd be sick. But it seems that the Bronco is a really great chassis, a really great platform to start with. So we're going to build the Bronco. And I have a video coming out here shortly with George from APG, where I'll be talking about what I'm planning to do there. Let's see. Have you installed Pro Slat on drywall? I haven't, but it's pretty easy to do. So we did. We'll talk more about the Pro Slat, the slat wall stuff on the video on Saturday. Hey Matt, which corded polisher should I buy? Is the Liquid Elements your preference over the Rupes? Probably not. I'd still buy a Rupes. If you have the money, buy the Rupes. But maybe that's just the snobbery in me coming out. Yeah, that's a tough one. Brembo ceramic pads are low dust. Just put them on my Cayman. V1 enthusiast. Michelle has her own house, ? I'll explain it again. So my kids, I need to keep explaining this because people think I'm getting divorced. I find that funny. So, and I'd say it's Michelle's house. And I'm disclaiming that because the house is kind of not super Matty spec, right? It's not junk, but it's just a basic, cookie cutter, production type house. So we live in Lady Lake, Florida. So we live, a couple miles from here. And then I have this giant building that I just bought. And so my life, my business is here. But my kids are going to the new version. So the Villages built a new charter school, which they are going to, which is about 18 miles from our house. So it's about a 45-minute, one-way drive. Even though it's only 18 miles, it's going down, there's lots of lights and lots of traffic. Not like traffic, but there's just no like direct high-speed route to get there. So Michelle is running the lower school and upper school and high school volleyball program that's becoming pretty significant. She's building this big program. They now have hundreds of girls that are involved in this. There were a dozen or so girls, and now she has, I think, 10 teams, and she'll probably have 15 teams next year. And then Kate's involved in that as well. So Kate's playing. She's on the 11U team. even though she's 9. And then Ryan is playing football and basketball and 7-on-7 and all this other stuff. And so they're down there all the darn time, sometimes making 3 there and back trips a day. And so Michelle got this job, which she didn't have. And so she's been saving her money. And so she saved enough for the down payment. It took her like a year and a half or so to save for the down payment on the house, on buying a house there. And so at that school, remember this is a retiree area. It's a retiree community, a planned unit development for retirees. There's a little town square where there's restaurants and stuff that they're building, and then shops and restaurants. That's where I'm talking about doing a showroom. And then just south of the school is a community where all of the, a lot of families are selling their homes or they're buying a second home next to the school, because some families are buying, like 4 families will go in and buy a house. So that way during the week, during the school year, they're not having to commute so far. And so Michelle wanted to do that, and so we're letting her do it. And I think that the likelihood of us spending more time there is pretty high, especially for the next 3 or 4 years. It's the opportunity to give my kids the same sort of 1980s, 90s lifestyle that I had growing up as a kid, where you jump on your bike and go run over to your buddy's house, and there's basketball courts, there's pools, there's all kinds of stuff there. So it's a cookie cutter community that we're going to close. We close on the house here soon, and then that house really becomes an investment for me, because it'll become a showroom and a place for me to make content, make videos, and then also we'll be able to use it to bring people over and show them the garage, show them lights, show them the outdoor kitchen, show them the different things that will be next to the design studio. So that's what we're doing. Matt, what do you think of ProSlat? We're about to order Sabre and thinking of not. I think I would do ProSlat over Sabre. They're similarly priced, lots and lots of options on cabinet type, size, color. The fit and finish is very similar, but the drawer glides are much, much better. I would do ProSlat. Let's see. Did any of you guys come up to the Alpine Fest in Georgia? No. My house is booked, so we're going up in like July 15th. Kevin Nickens says, Matt, can you talk about your thoughts on how YouTube relates to entrepreneurship? Is it a legit marketing tool? Are there better marketing tools available for reaching end users? So I view YouTube as the top of funnel. So if you picture marketing as a funnel, right, and there, the funnel is a triangle, and the triangle gets narrower as as things go, you sort of work their way down the funnel. So YouTube is the top of funnel. The next layer of the funnel is Instagram, Facebook. The next layer of the funnel is running things like ads, inorganic marketing, Google shopping, things like that. Then the next layer of the funnel is they get to our website, right? And our website has to be presented well. And next to the website, you have, email campaigns and stuff like that as you work your way down the funnel. And then eventually you have a purchase, and during the purchase, you have, follow-up and emails that's come from that and stuff like that. So I view YouTube in my particular business as the most important part of the entire marketing engine, simply because I don't think that I would be able to reach enough people. I know I wouldn't be able to reach enough people, certainly locally, but how can you take such a very specific group, a very niche offering, a very niche existence, and products that really don't appeal to everybody? How could you aggregate enough humans to make a business without some sort of scalable, broad appealing type marketing platform? And because of how complex and complicated many of the products I'm selling are, I need to be in your living room. I need to basically have a showroom in your living room talking about the stuff in order to make it work. And so it relates to entrepreneurship for me as the top of funnel, the top of that funnel, which is extremely important. So it's really the most important thing it's been a life changer for me. But the other aspects, the Google ads and stuff like that, where I'm getting money and stuff really doesn't matter that much. What's a middle ground cabinet between Sabre and not getting New Age? There isn't. So you save your money, you get Sabre or Pro Slat, and if you have to go down to New Age or Gladiator or some of that's Husky, I just wouldn't recommend it. I would just wait. Ben Fender says, any dreams of off-grid solar similar for a property? Yeah, I love the idea of water reclamation, of solar power, having a generator, battery backup storage. I think that stuff's really cool. So, yeah, I do have dreams of that. Jeff C. says, now that you're using some griots, any thoughts on polygloss? No, I don't want anything getting like that kind of Hydro Chew wet coat polygloss stuff. We don't need that. I don't want that. It tends to build a film over time, and I know they've gotten better, but I just don't like those products. Water activated or water delivered and activated silicon dioxide sealants don't really do anything other than change the contact angle of water and maybe offer tiny bit of chemical resistance because of the water behavior. But generally speaking, it's just adding a bunch of stuff on there that's all for show and not for go. So that's my thoughts. Super chat from Drifty Jacob. Hey Matt, what's your opinion on the Apple Magic Mouse and keyboard? I'm setting up a workstation to use my MacBook for going back to school. If you're doing high volume typing and high volume, scrolling, I think it's probably not best. I know it's not best. But I bought, what's that darn keyboard that I'm a Keychron that I bought, and I bought some fancy keyboards and freaking hated them. I gave them to you guys, Tim. I just got rid of them. I don't like the fancy stuff. I like the sleekness of the aluminum keyboard and the Magic Mouse, and but I'm doing high volume shopping. That's about it. It's low volume shopping these days. So I'm a big fan. I think it looks great, functions well, connects easily. I don't have to run any wires. The batteries on them are great. But from a function perspective, certainly not as good as doing a mechanical keyboard with a proper mouse. Let's see. Ever thought of having Michelle on the podcast? We've had her on before. It's been a while. She doesn't like to do anything. She's too busy, especially now. She doesn't like to do any of this stuff. C-Boy says, how do you like your Ironheart jeans? I love them. I mean, they're stiff. They're heavy. And I only did the 14 ounce. I can't imagine what the 24 ounce feels like. I just wore them the other day. They're great. They still need some breaking in to do. 23 says ADS Hero DIY detailing on top of the rinseless wash game. Any chance you replace the N914? Maybe. I like N914. It's pretty functionally excellent. C6 is a lifetime coating. There's no such thing. So he's talking about it's probably magnesium carbide and then cross links with the paint. OptiCoat is not a lifetime coating either. So you're still going to have to polish the car later and then try to put it back on. So I don't know. I'm not really interested. OptiCoat never looked very good. It was grabby, not slick. I don't know. Maybe we'll try it at some point. Let's see. I don't know if it's available in the U.S., but what do you think of Ava pressure washers? Ava is just another Chinese junk. It's like a Sunjo. Same freaking thing. I know you guys have more limited choice, but Ava is not going to replace getting a Krensla like HD7 or HD9 or an AR there. So it's just another, pretty plastic, like Big Boy, like Sunjo, like Greenworks. They're all in the same, junk category. I think if you're over there, I think Nilfisk has a pretty tight stranglehold on the market, or you guys have access to a lot of great Karchers and stuff. So I would be willing to bet, and just in my looking at it, knowing what I know, you would be much better off with a Karcher there over in the UK. Matt, have you ever seen the new McNaught Retracta C1 reels? I don't think they're new. Is there a new version of the McNaught? Let me look at that. Look that up here. The McNaught reels are nice if you were looking for a retractable reel. I don't like retractable for pressure washing. It just doesn't work very well. I still have to walk it all the way back in anyway, and then I can't control how it looks. Yeah, I don't think C1 is new. Just maybe a little bit more compact. I think they've had these for a long time. Yeah, I mean they're okay, but if you have to have retractable, it's a nice product. They're really they're professional grade. I don't want retractable. If I'm doing retractable on a power cord, the Cox is way better. And if I'm doing retractable I don't want retractable on my garden hose, and I don't want retractable on my pressure washer hose, because I want to be able to walk it back in. Let's see. Thoughts on OptiCoat Hyper Polish? I'm not a fan. I don't think it works very well. How was the wedding last weekend? No chicken dance. So there was no chicken dance. The ceremony was 20 minutes, which was great. And the food was, I'm not a wedding food. But everybody's doing what they always do. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm just raving about it. Yeah. And the cake, I ate a little bit of cake. He didn't do any freaking puke jelly or jam inside the cake, so that was really good. So I may have eaten 3 pieces of cake. So that was good. How's the mental health anxiety? I'm doing pretty well. I'm making significant strides. Has to do with, working on the therapy side of things, working on the coaching side of things, getting the business to where it's stable. So I'm feeling pretty good. Would you say the G80 manual would be a great all-around sports car for someone? I guess. It's a great driving car. It's a bit of a, obviously a pig. Again, I would rather have a G87, so the M2 manual. I would rather have that. But I would probably rather have a 2017 M2, if I'm at that level. A G80 is just a big fat pig, with a pig nose. So, I mean, it makes tons of horsepower, but it's like they sold their soul to the devil. What used sports car do you recommend for $80,000 or less? I'd probably head down the Supra path. I think those are cool. Supra, again, like an M2, I would prefer to have the S or the N55, not the S55 if I had the choice, even though the S55 is faster and all that. So yeah, that's what I would do. Any recommendation on sealant for the glass shower door? Tried 2 coats of Wolf's and got mixed results. Maybe you want something a little stiffer, a little more stout. Maybe that, what was that stuff I used from the rag company? What was that stuff called? Rag company. What's their freaking, the coating company that they're doing? The rag company. Chemical Diamond Protec. I knew I was on the right track, so I maybe try Diamond Protec on it. See how that does. Let me go back to here. I'd love to see Adam and Colette on the podcast. Catch up on Adam's car collection. Yeah, maybe we can do that at some point. Hey Matt, wishing you the best on all your upcoming projects. Thanks. I'm going to need all the help I can get. Enjoyed your chat with Keeve and Josh the other day. Any future collabs with them coming up? I don't have anything planned, but I think maybe. I'm sure, maybe not together, but maybe individually. I like Josh a lot. I think he and I have a lot, sort of a lot in common from the like demeanor. And Keev's always good to get a different perspective. So it's good to do things. Now, I think what we'll probably end up doing is building out our sort of affiliate network of people, and I intend to build out a sort of business value add, basically create a mastermind group, and I would invite those guys to do it. So maybe we'll do stuff in the future. Spencer's asking, how are the Pro Slat cabinets? Where do they fall in the lineup? They're it's tricky because they're better quality drawer glide wise than the Sonic MSS. They have a lot more options, and the drawer glides are better than Sabre. The finish is great. So to me, they're like an alternative to MSS. If you don't like the gray and black, I still think I'd probably pick MSS over, like I'm putting the MSS cabinets in Michelle's house over Pro Slat. But, I think that Pro Slat is a great option, for really anybody. So I think it kind of falls in between Sabre and MSS. And we'll probably replace Sabre for us together, or total. So no, work hasn't really started on HQ other than we've got the air conditioning system functioning. So that was a big project. I think we got all the roof leaks taken care of. We got the shed sort of sitting in place. You saw that video, and just a little bit of removal of the wallpaper. But next week we're going to start pretty heavy into it. We first have to go to my garage and do the DI system, so we can continue on the development of that. So I think we'll get started, next week or the following. Let's see. I'm 31, happily married, no kids. Don't any life advice, or is there any life advice you have for someone at my age? Been following since your house in the forest, and that for everything you got me through. Thanks for everything you got me through a lot of hard times. 31. I think it depends on where you're at in your career and your fitness, your knowledge base on the type of advice I would give. So can you elaborate, JP, a little bit more on that? Are you happy with your career? Are you happy with your education level? Because 31 is a great time to think about it. What's your path? What's your second career? What's your you now understand what your talent is, and you may be able to apply a little bit more passion toward the talent, and maybe make some changes, make some moves. Let's see. Tiger423 says, how often would you say a car with modern coating, 2 to 3 years, needs to be polished, recoated? Do you just play it by ear, or whether hydrophobic properties are still active? Yeah, hydrophobics are one telltale. Another is the water spotting and contamination level. Can you feel a bunch of gunk on it? So a 2 to 3 year coating, a 5 to 8 year coating, a 15 to 90 year coating probably all needs to be polished off in about 24 months and redone. So that's generally what I'm looking for is how's it look. Thoughts on optimum coating under PPF? Didn't you do that on the touring? Yeah, I would probably only do it on really finicky paint like that paint. I find it probably not necessary. It's probably not really necessary to polish underneath PPF to begin with. So that car, if I breathed on it wrong, scratched. So I thought putting that coating would help make it a little less prone to getting jacked up when they did the PPF. So I think I'd only do it on finicky paint. Let's see. Also, any update on the entry-level 3-inch polisher from Liquid Elements or is Griot's? Griot's is still the one to go on the entry-level for now. I don't really love, but I only have a prototype of the 3-inch cordless from Liquid Elements, so we'll see how the production version works. So, yeah, let me know. Let's see. So, Matt, back in the day when you had your Civics, did you ever consider getting a 3rd gen, 4th gen, or 5th Prelude? No, because to me, the Civic progression was 99, 2000 Civic Si, and then I want a Type R. Right, so then I go to the Acura, the Integra Type R. And so I never really thought about, next gen Civics. And then, the current Civics are just a little too bolt-on-y to me. There's a little too much going on. So I'm just not a huge fan. Again, I would head down the BMW or the Supra route if I was going to go like, modern Civic. So I was never a Prelude guy, although I liked the look of them. But I'd never really considered that. I was the Civic to Integra, S2000, and then the ultimate goal was the M3, the E36 M3, and then E46 M3, and then E92 M3, and so that was my path. Okay, JP added a little more context. Not happy with my career as a PR professional. It's dark, and my education is a bachelor's in communications, which is all right, but I'm hungry and want to get after it. And what gives you that drive? He's in California. So the 31's tricky, right? Because you're starting to solidify your lifestyle, right? How much money do you need to pay for your mortgage and take the vacation and do the things, buy the car, do the things with the family. If you don't have kids yet, you're still, if you're not going to have kids, that could, change your trajectory. I would try to figure out some other thing, some other side hustle, and you're going to have to suspend a lot of your disbelief on things, on how money's made and how you can ask for money for things. So I would figure out something that I'm really interested in, that I have a lot of talent attached to, and that I could become really passionate about, that I could start doing on the side, doing on weekends. And if you're super fit and you're healthy, you'll have the energy to do it. If you're not super fit and healthy, I would urge you to get super fit and healthy first, so you'll have the energy to excel in your job that you don't love, but figure out a way to excel in that while side hustling. Because in wealth management, I was excelling in wealth management. No, I wasn't fit. I lost the fitness part of it. Wish I would have, done this much sooner and gone carnivore and, figured this out. So the first step would have been to get fit, get super healthy. That would help me with the angst and the worry and all that bull crap and the chemical imbalance. And so I'd get fit, get super healthy. That will only take, 6 months to a year. Even if you're really out of shape, you'll get much fitter than you are. And then continue on that path. You'll have the energy to start side hustling, working on afternoons and lunches and nights and weekends and all that stuff. But really sit down and be really honest with yourself. What am I talented at? I'm only 31. I have plenty of capacity. I don't have any kids. My wife, if we have a great relationship, she'll probably be pretty supportive. And so go get it. Now, don't try to figure out something that's an original thought. I get this all the time where people start, I want to build Obsessed Garage. Well, how are you going to beat me at this? Like, I'm too good at this. And I'm like 10 years in. So you got to make your own thing. Figure out your own thing. Try to figure out what an original thought might be. And that's what you see, most YouTubers, most influencers, most people who are side hustling don't have an original thought. They just think that they're going to do it better, but they don't really have anything that they've thought of on their own. So I would want original thought, something I think I'm really good at, something that I could really develop passion around after I got like crazy fit and ready to conquer. That would be my advice. Let's see. Is 1UP still your recommended bike rack? Yep. Yeah, the 1UP aluminum is pretty sweet. Any Japanese tool brands or detailing products you like or you're interested? I love Koken. Made it into your tool collection. The Koken stuff is the only thing I can think of. The Nepros I sold off. It was cute, really pretty, but I think the Koken's just so much more functionally excellent. Hey, Matt, similar to the previous question, I have a stable $100,000 a year government job, but I'd love to build a paint correction business. But I'm also studying taxation. Which would you pursue? So, stable government job, pension, sounds like my frickin' nightmare. I understand why people do it. But that government position hopefully is helped you develop some skills that you could take elsewhere, and then take that pension and punt in the dumpster if you haven't qualified yet. I just wouldn't care about the pension pursuit. Chances are that pension isn't going to frickin' exist by the time you need it anyway. There's pretty high probability. So now if you're 22 years in and you got to get to year 26, then you have to stick it out, right? And then go do the second career. I would also be careful with going from a stable, office position into a manual labor position, because remember, paint correction is hard work, really hard work. And so you have to really love it in order to do that hard work. And even then, you got to figure out what's your exit strategy, because your body's going to fall apart eventually. I mean, maybe you could stay super fit and do it forever, but studying something to do with accounting but I mean, do you want to go be an accountant? I mean, I would want to be an accountant if I was really freaking good at it. That's the only opportunity. If you're not in the top, like Scott was saying there, if you're not in the top 1%, you don't think you could be in the top 1%, or let's say top 10%, then, maybe you don't head down that path. But, it's really hard for me to provide this advice because I've gotten so frickin' lucky. I'm born a certain way. I act a certain way. I have a certain predisposition. And then I got lucky and I figured out what I'm good at. And I figured it out before it was too late. So that's a tricky thing to provide advice on. That's why this thing, listening to Scott about this has resonated with me so much. And, I find myself in a position where lots of people ask me for advice, and I have a really hard time with this. I've talked about this before, but Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, has 20 million subscribers on YouTube, and people want to do what he does. And he's like, look, I don't know what to tell you here, but I don't think you can. It's too late for that. And I don't want to discourage you, but your odds of that are so small, so slim. His were so slim, and he did it at the onset, in the very beginning, and was one of the first tech producers or content producers online. So I think I'm always inclined to provide people advice. Don't quit your job in chase of a pipe dream. Sometimes you don't know if you're talented enough. I didn't know if I was talented enough to do this. I didn't know if I had the right demeanor, or had the right stuff to make this work. But I gave it a shot on the side by accident, and then it kind of worked out. So it'd be tricky to although I'm kind of doing it now, where you kind of manufacture your outcome. I'm doing it with the villages, doing it with deionization, figuring out what a problem is. The issue is, if you're not entrepreneurial, bent, it's really hard to see it. And then that's when you end up just copying other people, and you don't end up with an original thought. Now, there is no such thing as an original thought anymore. You're just adding on to what already exists. But if you have a muse and you're just copying the muse, it's probably not going to work out as well. You're going to feel like crap too. And you should. Anyway, looks like that's the end of the questions. I think I got some videos to make for you guys on. So like I said, I'm going to go down to video the house and explain that. That'll be on. Maybe I should put that up on the main channel. I don't know. You guys need to stop being cheap. It's $8. Go become a member inside the Hex. Let's see, Matt, did my email make it into your inbox? Let me see. I don't see anything. If it did, I responded. Let's see. Somebody has a question. What is he talking about here? No, it's 4.5. I made a question about the orifice size. Let's see. Hope you can help, Matt. I had bug repellent accidentally overspray on my car. Did not get it in time. Looks like the product may have damaged my paint. Ooh. I tried compound and claying, but no advice. Yeah, the solvent probably ate through the clear coat. Yikes. It looks like a wet sand. Oof. Yeah. Let me just check, make sure you guys didn't have any more questions. Thanks, everybody. So no, Brian, I don't see any emails in my inbox. Matt, I know this is a challenging question, but in the future, consider doing leather restoration within color involved. I think he's saying, would I do a video of doing some leather restoration with a colored leather? The resource on that is Color Lock. If you just go to Color Lock, there's all kinds of videos showing you how to dye it and get the right color and all that stuff. I don't think the LE is better than the Rupes. There's some aspects that are. The fit and finish and quality and internal components and all of that of the Rupes are pretty awesome, I think. Inside the Hex is on obsessgarage.com, and if you click on let's go here, Obsess Garage, and if you hover over Inside the Hex, and then you go to OG membership, and it talks about Hex Lite and Hex Plus. Hex Lite is $8 a month, $60 a year. You have an option. Hex Plus is $240 a year, and that gets you 10% off and free shipping. And Preorder as well. So, hope that helps. There you go. Tim just put a link in there. Let's see. Where did you say the clip came from holding your nozzle on your spray gun? It's from, I think, Mad Detailing. What is it called? Mad Scientist Detailing. Yeah. Mad Detailing USA. I think this is it. Look at products here. No, that's not it. This is a different one. That's the one that, shoot. I follow them on Instagram. Let's see here. Or maybe it's Facebook. Mad Scientist Detailing. Yep. Mad Scientist Detailing. No, that's not it. Mad Scientist Detailing on Facebook. That doesn't look right. Let me see what his website is. I just found it here. See more info. How the heck did I get this thing? Am I stupid or something? Photos, videos. She's got some pet hair removal videos. Yeah, I'm on his page. But how did I buy the darn thing? I don't see a website. What the heck? Dismiss that. Well, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know how I found it. So, all right. I think that's all we got. Yeah, so I'll have to find that. You find it, Tim? Mad Car Care Detailing? Yeah. It's not Mad Car Care because that's a different thing. Question on switch tracks: Can you install them and not cover the entire floor? Example 24 by 20. But I want to lay the switch tracks under the lift area, which would be about, yeah, you can do that. They have edge pieces, corner pieces. You just need to make sure it's because it's floating, and so if it's around the lift, you just cut it around the lift, and the lift will hold it in place. If it's just completely floating, like in the middle, like so let's say you had you put it in the center of your garage and it wasn't touching any walls, you would just want to put like a Tapcon in to hold a couple of Tapcons to hold the floor from sliding around so it didn't shoot out from underneath you. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on your phone or something, wherever you're at, but keep me posted. I appreciate all you guys being here. But if you have any questions or anything on the next podcast, hit us up. You can always shoot me an email, Matt@obsessedgarage.com. Always try to